It's that time again.
Yep. We are Team Wester.
And you are the most important thing to us.
Team Wester
Podcast. It's all about the team.
Welcome into another exciting edition of the Team Wester podcast. I'm Clay Moden with Brad Gelber, and joining us today, Josh Allen. Josh, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, busy day around here, of course. They've got you going all different directions today. But, you know, it's good to have you back. How's the off-season going?
Off-season's going great. You know, spending some time here in Buffalo with the boys and developing that camaraderie and those relationships, especially with some of the newer guys on our team that I think are very crucial to a team's season. So the weather's actually been fantastic. We got out to golf a few times and had a little team golf tournament last week. And there's another one today that I'm missing, unfortunately, but I know my team's probably winning right now, so we're all good.
Now, you had a fan join you to play at Oak Hill. Is that right?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
How'd that go, or have you done that yet?
No, I did it the day after the PGA, so the course was it was brutal. I've never experienced a time in my life where I've been golfing and my body's shutting down. I'm just like, get me out of here. It was a torturous round. I played from the tips, and it's a long course. It's 7,400 at par 70. So there's a couple par 3s that were like 250, 260, straight into the wind. You know, normal guys got no chance, you know. So
Does it give you a new respect?
100%.
For the top, yeah.
100%. Especially, obviously, Brooks won it, and I know the pro at Royal Tribuco, Mike Block, who had a really successful round there, made the top 15, and was kind of the talk of the country, you know, during that weekend. And it was pretty cool to see that, and got to go there with my boys that weekend and had a blast.
And being in Buffalo now for a number of years and getting to know the Western New York community, which, you know, extends out to Rochester because you guys have training camp there and all the fans that live out there. What was it like to see Rochester kind of on, you know, the national level for the PGA being there? I mean, it's such a beautiful course too.
It was awesome. The course was in great shape. Obviously, it was extremely tough, which I'm a fan for. You know, make those pros suffer a little bit too.
Right.
Make them feel like they're beginners again, you know, and it was so cool to see, and everybody, from what I saw, loved the course, the players included. And I'm glad Oak Hill got that recognition. I'm glad Rochester and Western New York got that recognition. Every time you were painting on someone in the crowd too, you saw something Bills, whether there's a hat or a jersey or a polo. So you know, Western New York and Bills Mafia was extremely well represented, and those fans are awesome.
You know, I don't think a guy ever gets used to seeing fans wear your name on the back, right? Like people loving to wear your jersey. But growing up, who was the guy you're like, I had to have that jersey?
Frank Gore, actually. And so I grew up a 49ers fan, and he played for the Niners forever. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to be teammates with him here in Buffalo. And one of his departing gifts for me was a signed 49er jersey, which I got hung up on my wall right now. It was super special. That's probably the main guy. And I had an Alex Smith jersey too, and you know, I've gotten to know Alex over the last couple of years, and what a story he's had in his career, in his life, really, and what an all-time dude that guy is.
You know, you obviously have reached this status now, superstar, Buffalo, nationwide, internationally. But is there anybody that you meet kind of nervous about, or that is on your bucket list to still meet?
I mean, I got to meet Tiger not too long ago at the Genesis, and one of those moments where you just kind of black out. I don't remember what I said.
Right.
First thing he said to me, like I shook his hand. He said, "You got a really good swing."
Oh, man.
And from there on, I was through the roof. Don't know what we talked about after. It was like a quick 15-second interaction, but I tapped him like a bro tap, like probably 5 too many times for it to be a little too uncomfortable for him. But that's like my biggest idol as a kid growing up. Like anytime, you know, you saw on ESPN the ticker on a Sunday, Tiger's in contention, you had to watch it. And he was one of those guys where like he's standing over a putt, and my heart is beating faster because I want him to make it so bad. And so that was pretty cool. As of now, you know, I feel like I've met most of my idols growing up. And they say you don't meet your idols.
Yeah, have you ever been let down by that? That's what they warned you about.
I haven't. I feel like as a kid, I had a good judge of character, I guess. But the guys that I've met that I idolized growing up and were huge fans of, you know, guys like Alex Smith and Buster Posey and Frank Gore and Tiger Woods. So it's been awesome. It really has been.
It was cool watching, I think, as like from a perspective of everyone else, seeing Josh Allen be like a little giddy, because like I remember seeing the clip on social media, and it's like that's probably how like 95% are that meet you. So it's like in retrospect, like you meeting him.
Yeah, I get it.
But, you know, we were talking to Dawson earlier on the podcast about golf a little bit, and I know just knowing you the last few years, like that's a huge passion of yours. So we just talked to Dion before about his passion of cornhole, and, you know, he said he considers himself a pro, and he said if he had a little more time on his hands, he thinks he could probably be one of the best cornhole players there are. For Josh Allen with golf, is there a future career in golf after football?
You know, I got asked this question not too long ago. There's no chance.
Yeah.
Those guys have been playing for so long. The little intricacies of the game, they understand it. Now I feel like I could be pretty good. I could probably be scratch at some point. But my goal is not to be the best or the best golfer in the world. It's to be the best member guest in the world, right? So get to be invited to all these really cool tournaments that they throw and all these really cool golf courses. And I'm trying to knock out the top 100 in the world. That's my main goal outside of football, is to golf the top 100 golf courses. And we've got about 8 or 9 down right now, and so there's a lot of room to go, but it's going to take some time because they're scattered all over the world, and that's kind of something I look forward to. Now I just kind of made myself this goal this last offseason, and might as well.
What about baseball? Seems like you've done pretty well. Of course, we saw you at Salem Field.
Yep.
Is that something maybe you'd consider?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Those guys, I have a lot of respect for those baseball players, man. When that ball's coming at 98, 99 miles an hour, I mean, it's close your eyes and blink, you know, and swing. So
Somebody grabbed the ball that you hit outside of the park. They were driving by. I don't know if you saw the
Oh,
video.
did they really?
I don't know where that ended up,
Yeah,
but they
no idea.
were just driving by. It was a home run that you put out of the park.
Oh, I didn't
and the
see
guy
that.
picked it up out of his car, and they drove away.
Oh, I didn't
I
see
don't
that.
even know if they knew it was your hit, but pretty incredible.
Just see a baseball coming.
exactly,
Just land on the 190 there.
Yeah. No, but baseball, those schedules, man, 162 games. I got to go to Blue Jays and do some batting practice, and they're there, you know, at a 7 o'clock game, they're there at 1:30, and they're practicing basically, like full sweat practicing before the game. And I just blew my mind to see how much work those guys put in, and multiply that by 162 games. So it's a grueling schedule, but those guys they're awesome. They're super chill because they have to be, right? So like sitting outside, you know, in the outfield and shagging balls and taking BP, like I do miss that part about baseball. Like going back to high school, like some of the talks that I would have with my teammates, so I'm spitting seeds and just catching fly balls and just chucking them back into the infield. You know, those are moments you miss, but I think I'll continue doing what I'm doing right now.
When you get to the off season, obviously, you know, you only have a certain amount of time, and it's structured between OTAs and other things before you get to training camp. And do you kind of like look at your off season schedule and you're like, all right, I want to take a couple vacations. I know where I want to go. I want to go to these golf tournaments. Are those like your like 1 and 2, see family, I'm sure, and then it's kind of like get back into football mode? Or how do you kind of structure your off season around?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to play anything until after the Super Bowl.
Sure.
That's the goal every time we start a new season. Obviously, haven't gotten there yet, but we're working hard to find a way to push through that ceiling. But yeah, I mean, in the off season, it's more so let the body rest and recover. I play the quarterback position a little differently than most guys, so my body may take a little bit longer to heal up. But golf is one of those activities you can do where it's not grueling exercise. You know, get in a golf cart and swing the club and play 18 holes, and that's kind of relaxation of the mind for me too. So getting away from football. But yeah, seeing family and hanging with friends, that's really all I try to do in the off season. And then come OTAs, that's when football starts to ramp up and getting back into shape right before it. But yeah, you have to allow yourself some time to physically and mentally step away and clear your mind and be ready to go for another long, grueling season. Because these seasons are, you know, adding another game, it might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot, you know. And you do that week in and week out, and you wake up on Monday and you're sore as hell. Tuesday, you're even more sore as hell because sometimes those painkillers might wear off the next day, and Wednesday you're finally starting to get back into it. Thursday you're like, okay, I think I can do it. Friday, Saturday come, you're feeling good. Sunday you tear yourself back down, and you gotta be a little sick to love this game. One of my coaches in high school, Coach Magnuson, always used to tell me that, and never really understood why, and until I really got into the league. And you do got to be a little sick to love this game.
So off-season talk's been a lot about the stadium that's going to be built. The players seem to think that you might have some input as to what's going to be happening there. Did they give you any options to say about locker room or anything like that?
Heck no. Hey,
So
no.
Dawson, let's clarify. Dawson, we asked him, does he have a say? He said no, but Josh Allen probably does. So we said, we'll ask him in a couple of minutes about
No,
that.
I didn't get asked much about it.
Dawson wants a pool. Or I'm sorry, Dion wants a pool put
Dawson wants, I think, a hot tub maybe.
The hot tub,
I don't
yeah.
know.
We've got. Are they talking to like for fans?
No,
No,
for you
them.
guys.
In the locker room.
behind the scenes
Yeah.
for you
Oh, I
guys.
mean, we've got the cold tubs and hot tubs. Now, a lap pool would be pretty beneficial, I think, which I don't know if there's thoughts about that or talks about it, but that would have been nice. I like
You heard
swimming.
it here first. In
Yeah,
case you
if that
I like
ever
swimming,
happens.
especially as a quarterback and doing no
Right.
weight, like it's just body or water resistance. And swimming, in my opinion, if and when I have kids, like I'm making them swim. That's one thing I will make them do, because I did as a kid. But my dad was our president of our swim team in Fireball, and I mean I'd be crying into my goggles as a kid. Like, I just want to get out of here. And I'd look up and my dad's standing right there, just arms crossed, like, you got 10 more laps here, buddy. And it's just like, I just want to get out of here. But I think in terms of, again, you're in the pool by yourself, talking to yourself as you're swimming. It works out so many different muscles. I think the hand-eye coordination piece comes along with that too. So that's one sport that I did growing up that I didn't give enough credit to when I was doing it. Because I just, like, it was during baseball, and I was like, I just want to go to baseball. Like, if we had a swim meet on Saturday and a baseball game, like, I'm going to the baseball game, right? But that's one sport I feel like everybody should do.
Turf or grass field?
Grass.
If you had your choice.
3 for 3.
Yeah. It's no comparison. Like, and practicing on turf the next day, like, I'm getting to a point in my career now where it's like, I feel it. It's like, oh, why am I so sore today? And it's like, oh, it's because we were indoor yesterday. But grass is the way to go. I know the new stadium will have grass, which is a huge, huge benefit for us as players. And hopefully we can get all grass fields and going forward.
So, it's something we talked about, I think, a couple of years ago or before. Actually, I think it was when we had Rosie's come in and do an ice cream flavor after you, which was pistachio-based, was the fact that, your family has a pistachio farm that, you've been involved with, and you kind of have, like, a future plan for that. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So me, my dad, and my family, we do have a few fields of pistachios in, and the crazy thing about pistachios, it takes about 5 years for them to produce an actual nut. So whenever you plant on that certain field, no matter how many acres you put, like for 5 years now, that field is now just pistachio trees that aren't going to grow anything. So you have to be kind of strategic about it. And my dad's been so instrumental in the whole process. He's been so smart about it and trusting the right people. And, he's still out there and on the farm and with my mom and a few of our little doggies. So they're looking good. They're growing, and we plan to keep putting more pistachio trees in, and hopefully we can have those pistachios sold straight to Rosie's, so they can use the actual pistachios from the farm. That'd be fun.
And something else too we've talked about is naturally the off season, and Brandon Beane's been busy. Obviously, we know that. I mean, today alone, Leonard Floyd signed with the team. At Oliver extended. You guys have been adding pieces
Tyler
to what was
Bass.
already a strong team. I know Sean McDermott's taking a bit of a more active role in the defense now, and Ken's back for another year. So, when you're looking kind of what's the vibe with the team right now? You guys feeling good about next season and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're feeling good, and to be getting Micah Hyde back and hopefully Vaughn back soon. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but some of our more corner pieces and captains of our team going to be back on the field is a huge plus. But then you start throwing in, some of the new guys we have in the offensive line at receiver and drafting a few different guys too. Like, it's coming together well, and obviously there's still a lot of work to go. Sure. Like, we're not in the business of making predictions or trying to tell people what we're going to be. We're just going to try to work hard and go out there and put our best foot forward and try to win as many games as possible. And hopefully we're winning our last one, and that's our mindset.
When the rookies come in, we've been asking some of the other players, after you've been on the league for a few years now, obviously, is there something you recommend to rookies when they come in their first year, do's or don'ts?
It's I don't know if there's one thing that I would recommend other than, like, you're going to get what you put in out of it, right? Like, if you want to hang around and you're doing it to wear the jersey and post on social media, and I don't know how much you're going to get out of it, but if you kind of put your head down and work as hard as you can, and if there's one thing I would say is the smart guys stick around. Yeah. Like there's always there's always room on a team, whether you're slightly less physically talented than someone, because everybody's kind of the same physical talent. There's some freaks of nature here or there, and but again, guys that work hard, guys that are smart, and guys that listen to their coaching staff, I think that's what keeps guys around. Because you can have all the talent in the world and be a turd and go from team to team and not really figure it out. So the sooner you can kind of figure that out, I think that's going to help them in the long run.
Is there anything you would have changed to get to this point?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe preparation, especially my rookie year, and just trying to figure out a new offense. And I've been fortunate enough to be now in the same system for 6 years. And obviously with Coach Dorsey last year, it was my first year as him as a different offensive coordinator. But going into year 2, having that relationship with him, having that rapport with him, and the guys in the system that we've had, I think it's been pretty good mesh. So just continue to learn from that aspect and you use my preparation to an advantage.
And, something, too, people talk about is, like, the cohesion in a position room. So, like, when you were early on in your career, obviously that was something they wanted to have around you, was support in the quarterback room. Maybe people don't know, but off the field, you and Kyle Allen are good friends, and now he joins the team with Matt Barkley, who's, we are familiar with him. He's been around a while and been a part of kind of your career trajectory as well. So what's that been like, kind of from you to go from like the rookie guy now to obviously the leader of the team, but have that support inherently built around you in the quarterback room?
Yeah, I think just being comfortable with people in your room, it's a huge plus. And me, Matt, and Kyle, we hang out in the off season. Like we go golfing together. We all live down in Orange County, California. It's such a cool vibe that we have in our room, and like we genuinely just want the best for each other. And there's no finger pointing. There's none of that. It's just like, what can we talk about to help with our concepts? We're all on the same page. Talking to Coach Brady, who's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
love Joe.
Even mention.
And then we got Mark Lubick in our room too, who's awesome as well. So we've got a really, really special unit. I think when you look at it from experience and just different offenses that those guys have been in, and to kind of bring that to us here, I think it's going to pay off. And to have three minds that are so alike, but they've been through so many different things in their life, and it's a special room. It really is, and I love those guys.
Something else, too, and getting close to wrapping probably here. We only get Josh for a certain amount of time. But, we have our West Herr Cares division, which is our philanthropic endeavor. And, one of the things we try to do with each guy on Team West Herr is kind of lean into their charitable efforts. So we've done quite a few things with you and Oshai, obviously. What's kind of been going on with Oshai in the off season? Do you have any events coming up or anything you're looking forward to? Because I think everyone knows about the Patricia Allen Fund by now, but anything going on with Oshai?
Yeah, we just had our 117-hole golf challenge where there's a group of about 15 guys. It might be a little more, it might be a little less. I don't know the exact number, but they literally start at sun up and they golf until about sundown. They play 117 holes and they walk the entire thing, which is around 40 miles.
Jeez.
And that's about I think 6 golf rounds, if I'm correct there, 6.5. So the amount of swings that they put into a day, like the blisters that they get on their feet and the chafing and their like, they're wiped out at the end of the day. But it was such a cool event. We raised over $300,000 for the Patricia Allen Fund and Oshai Children's Hospital, and that event is so cool to me because there's guys that literally take a full day to go, and the golf's not enjoyable at a certain point, right? You might get there early and it's like, oh, I'm feeling good.
Right.
But towards, about round 3 or 4, your body's hurting,
whole
you're
90.
sweating. It was hot. It was beating down on them. The sun was, and they count birdies and eagles, and every time they do that, it adds more to the total. And one guy had 36 birdies and 3 eagles, and so it was such a fun event, and got to go and have dinner afterwards with everybody, and it was awesome.
Well, real quick on the golf thing too. What was it like for Jim Nantz to be that open with you? Because you had a chance to see him in the locker room beforehand. He looked like he didn't even know that was coming.
Yeah.
And that was about as real as it gets from a guy like that.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Well, I think Jim is one of the realest people in the world. Like, he is such a nice dude. I've gotten to know him over the last few years. We've played a few rounds of golf, and he was my announcer on my first win against Minnesota, and I got to go see him obviously at the Oak Hill of Fame induction, and the speech that he had, kind of just off the cusp, like he had a couple notes. You can see he had like wrote down like on the back of a scorecard or something. It was one of the most impressive things I've seen a human do, to recognize the room, understand who was in it, make sure he said something about everyone that was instrumental in his life, family, friends, his employer, and then he said something nice about me and Vaughn that we were there to support him, and didn't expect any of that, but like his speech was A1. Like it was impressive. I can't say that enough about Jim, and he's a friend of mine, and it was really cool to see him do that.
It was a cool moment, definitely.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask you, because we got to give a shout out to Jesse from Chiefs Barber Parlor here. Is it weird at your status now, anytime you change your hair, your facial hair? I mean, I remember the mustache thing. I remember, you have a newer style now. I don't know what brings that on, if it's just you decide, but is it weird seeing how viral that goes? It's like, I got a haircut, and it's like on the cover of everything is like Josh Allen's new hair. Like, what's it like?
I'll never get used to it.
Yeah.
It's funky. It's never calculated for me, right? Like I go in and I literally sit down, like, he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Just do it. Right. Like I could give 0, right? I can give 0. I don't care about it at all. He can shave my head for all I care. Yeah. I don't think he would, and I hope he doesn't, but I literally give him the power. Like I sit down like, dude, just, I don't know, do what you think makes me look good, I guess, or tries to. Yeah. So,
if I could grow hair, I'd do it. Yeah. Everybody wants your haircut now. So it's like there's
some good flow back there. There's some cheddar. I've never really had that. I think it's kind of longest I've ever been. I think in high school I had like the Bieber flow, right? Yeah. It was like the
maybe the COVID years, when you couldn't get haircut. It was
COVID year I got real kind of mountainy and shaggy, and wasn't the best look, but Chief's been cutting my hair since I've been here, and he's been awesome.
Last thing I just wanted to ask you, we've asked all the guys, you especially probably out of the guys here have done the most kind of commercial work, working with different businesses, things like that. When you get a chance to work with like West Herr as a local company, but you get to do it with Dawson, with Dion, with Steve Tasker now, who I know we've talked to him about kind of maybe helping steer your way as a spokesperson a little bit, because he's been doing it so long. What's like getting to do it with the guys you go out and play with every Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it's super comfortable. It's nothing that's too serious, right? Like when me and Steve are working together, it's like if one thing doesn't make sense, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say this, and everyone's like, okay, yeah. Like it's like if I'm not comfortable doing it, if Steve doesn't like it, we kind of just change it on the fly, and it's just kind of whatever goes, and it's one of my more enjoyable shoots. I'm not an actor at the end of the day, right? Like, yeah, you can say I'm an entertainer. I play football, but the acting piece, like, still, I feel so uncomfortable. Like when I got to do photo shoots, and like they're like, all right, we want some emotion. We want you to yell. I'm like, I get like kind of flustered. I'm like, I hate this, So, this is as comfortable I think as I can get. Yep. Which I appreciate. There's some other things that I've done in my career so far that are like just painstakingly, like just blood boiling. Like it bothers me, like some of the things, and I'm just a non-fan of cringe things, right? If something that makes me cringe, it doesn't have to be a lot, right? And I understand that everybody else can have the same reaction too, and I maybe see things differently than a lot of people in terms of the acting stuff and like what's gonna make people cringe, but I cringe very easily, and I'm just like, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Right.
I think one of my biggest cringe moments was a few years ago. We had Josh at a shoot, and I remember we were going through a list of like gifs and stuff. They had to say stuff. I'm like reading through, and I was like making the guys say like, Josh Allen looks good in shorts, and I got to Josh, and I was like, I really don't want to make him say it. So I remember you looked at me, and we were just like, yeah, we're gonna skip that one for that. So that's a nice little peek inside behind the curtain there at a Team West.
Last year when I was talking to Josh while he was getting his haircut, that was one of those my wife brings up all the time. Remember, you were just talking to Josh when he was getting his haircut. So
that's another thing. Moments. People just stand there and record me getting my haircut, and it's like. Anyways, I digress.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having
Always
me
a
on.
pleasure, and best of luck this year, too.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, another exciting edition of the Team Western podcast. We'll see you next time. For Brad Gelber, I'm Clay Moden. For Josh Allen, let's go Buffalo.